Welcome to our end of week news bulletin. I am Sergeant Doreen Kerubo. The Kdf Weekly Bulletin is a show to keep you updated on events undertaken by the Ministry of Defense over the week. In our bulletin tonight, boots on ground to combat banditry in the North Rift region, securing Defense Headquarters Camp Administration Unit, Vice Chief of Defense Forces meets IGAD envoy to South Sudan, and joint field training exercise kicks off in Isiolo County. His Excellency Honorable Dr. William Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces, ordered a joint security operation in the North Rift following prolonged banditry attacks in the region. As a consequence, Honorable Aden Duale, the Cabinet Secretary for Defense, who is also the chairperson of the Defense Council, gazetted the deployment of the Kenya Defense Forces to support the Kenya Police Service in the North Rift. Troops from Kenya Defense Forces have already been deployed in the area for Operation Maliza Uhalifu.
The military will render assistance and operate under the National Police Service, who are the lead agency in Operation Maliza Uhalifu. Article 241 of the Kenyan Constitution and Sections 31 and 33 of the Kenya Defense Forces Act provide the deployment of Kenya Defense Forces in a joint operation with the National Police Service and other authorities in situations of emergencies or disaster.
Honorable Aden Duale, the Cabinet Secretary for Defense, was appointed as the chairperson of the Council of Ministers of the East Africa Standby Force during a policy organs meeting held in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Honorable Duale took over the chairmanship of the council from Dr. Abraham Bailey, the Ethiopian Minister for Defense, whose term ended, while Brigadier Paul Njema of Kenya Defense Forces was appointed the director of the East African Standby Force Secretariat. The policy organs meeting further unanimously agreed to have Kenya chair the Assembly of Heads of State and Government and the Committee of the Chiefs of Defense Forces.
During the meeting, the Council proposed that East Africa Standby Force evaluates itself to see how it could be structured to meet the demands of the current security dynamics. To this effect, the participants proposed the establishment of the panel of elders awaiting its regularization. The force was established as a regional mechanism to provide capability for rapid deployment of forces to carry out preventive deployment, rapid intervention, peace support, stability operations, and peace enforcement. The ministers' meeting was preceded by that of the Committee of Chiefs of Defense Forces from the member states and was chaired by Field Marshal Birhanu Jula Gelalcha, Chief of General Staff of the Ethiopian National Defense Forces.
General Robert Kibochi, Chief of the Defense Forces, this week officially commissioned Ulinzi Main Gate House at the Defense Headquarters in Nairobi. The construction of the modern Ulinzi Main Gate House is part of the modernization efforts of the Ministry of Defense Headquarters to secure and improve traffic flow around the ministry and its environs.
While commissioning the facility, General Kibochi underscored its importance, emphasizing that it will provide an ambient working environment for soldiers. The facility is equipped with state-of-the-art technology capable of continuous monitoring and assessment of the security situation in and around Defense Headquarters. The CDF pointed out that the operationalization of the facility is an indication of a defense force that is dynamic and in keeping in times of mission readiness, that has been indoctrinated in service and led by example as its motto, tip of the arrow. Construction of Ulinzi Main Gate House was spearheaded by Kenya Defense Forces in conjunction with now defunct Nairobi Metropolitan Service and Kenya Urban Roads Authority.
Kenya Defense Forces troops and other allied states are participating in a two-week exercise named Justified Accord 2023 at the School of Infantry in Isiolo County. During the official opening of the exercise, Lieutenant Colonel Peter Mwangi, the commanding officer 27 Mechanized Infantry Battalion, underscored the importance of joint training in molding a soldier. He also emphasized on its relevance in addressing both conventional and asymmetrical war threats. Additionally, Lieutenant Colonel Mwangi stressed on the first-class training, stating that it is the best form of morale commanders can give to their troops.
Here, purposely, we are concerned with the phase of field training exercise. We are having various multinationals conducting under various scenarios. And therefore, like today, we are having Medicamp, urban operations, counter-IED skills, just to ensure that our troops are operational ready.
Exercise Justified Accord 2023 aims to improve the troops' multinational interoperability and reinforcing the bilateral and regional relations. The exercise is also preparing multinational partners on the best modalities of responding to regional security challenges, enhancing medical capability of the troops, as well as forming an umbrella body of the troops to enhance security in the region. Djibouti, Rwanda, Uganda, and United States are also participants in the exercise. The event was also attended by Lieutenant Colonel Jason Porter, the U.S. Deputy Exercise Director, and other commanding officers from participating states. Later on in the week, Brigadier Benedict Mzee, the Kenya Army Headquarters Chief of Training, visited the multinational troops in the training exercise.
Lieutenant General Francis Ogola, the Vice Chief of Defense Forces, hosted Lieutenant General Astrat Dena, head of the envoy deployed to South Sudan as the chairperson of the Ceasefire and Transitional Security Arrangement Monitoring and Verification Mechanism. The meeting held at the Defense Headquarters in Nairobi aimed to evaluate and apprise the Vice Chief of Defense Forces on developments and milestones of the peace process's efforts to end hostilities in South Sudan.
During the meeting, Lieutenant General Ogola applauded the milestone that the organization has realized across South Sudan. The body has registered increased number of graduated unified forces and held successful peace workshops and initiatives in the country. Lieutenant General Dinero, who is also the former Commander-in-Chief of the Ethiopian Ground Force and coordinator of the Metekel Zone Integrated Command Post, also called for continued support in executing their mandate of monitoring, verifying, assessing, and reporting the security situation in South Sudan. Kenya Defense Forces is represented at the Ceasefire and Transitional Security Arrangement Monitoring and Verification Mechanism by 16 officers.
Major General Jimson Mutai, Commander Kenya Navy, hosted Senior Colonel Q Yawei, the Chinese Defense Attaché to Kenya at the Kenya Navy headquarters in Mombasa. Major General Mutai and Senior Colonel Yawei discussed and explored the possible opportunities and areas of cooperation between the People's Liberation Army Navy and Kenya Navy in fulfillment of the existing agreements and protocols. The commander assured the Defense Attaché that Kenya Navy is looking forward to future collaboration with the People's Liberation Army Navy and Kenya Navy in areas of mutual interest. Kenya Defense Forces troops under Operation Amani Boni airlifted students from various parts of Lamu County to Arid Zone Junior Secondary School at Mokowe. The students from Mararani, Mangai, Basuba, and Milimani are set to join fellow students after completing the first level of the competency-based curriculum, popularly referred to as CBC.
The reporting students were received at Mokowe airstrip by the local administration officials, led by Mr. Khalifa Ali, the area chief, and their parents. They thanked Kenya Defense Forces for continued support in the education sector and also in other spheres of life, with the sole purpose of uplifting the social status of the marginalized group. Airlifting of students is part of the local popular-centered approach taken by Operation Amani Boni in partnership with other local stakeholders to uplift livelihoods of the residents as well as fight violent extremism.
Grade 2 staff course participants visited Moi Air Base in Nairobi, where they were given an overview of the Kenya Air Force. The participants were welcomed at Moi Air Base headquarters by Brigadier Samuel Kipkoril, the base commander.
The staff and course participants, led by Colonel William Kripotich, head of writing team, were briefed on the role of the Kenya Air Force in the national and regional security, as well as other aspects of operations that are useful to their studies and knowledge. Presiding over the presentation of the Talanta Theatre Auditorium, Colonel Charles Mnyao, the Chief of Operations Kenya Air Force, reminded the course participants to make good use of the knowledge acquired during the course as it will help them to make better strategic decisions in the future. The participants were later taken through a tour of the engine maintenance squadron and the static displays of the Kenya Air Force aircraft.
Colonel Aziz Mohammed, Commandant School of Infantry, presided over a drill and duty student pass-out parade. This was after successful completion of a 6-week course at the school in Isiolo County. The Commandant congratulated the students for their exemplary performance exhibited during the training, noting that the school is always proud of producing future military leaders.
The Commandant urged the participants to endeavor to practice their acquired skills in the execution of their duties, and noted that he was proud of the school that had produced a number of notable regimental sergeant majors. During the course, the participants were trained on drill and duty skills, leadership, command and management, pillars of training, method of instruction and communication skills aimed at equipping the students with the necessary knowledge and skills to effectively execute regimental duties.
Thank you for watching. We look forward to your feedback via our official social media handles and your viewership next Friday for the KDF Weekly Bulletin. My name is Sergeant Doreen Kerubo. Goodbye.